Hello, Forgy family. I thought I would explain our DNA test results a little bit more. Most of our testers have taken the Y DNA test, which is the best test for genealogy. So we had Michael and Darren test for Samuel Forgie. We had my uncle Charles Forgie and Roger Forgie test for the Andrew Forgie family of Hawkins County, Tennessee. Craig Forgy tested for Andrew Forgy of Lorry County, Tennessee. And what we're seeing here is the blue and the pink highlighted results show differences from the most common result. So Roger had the most common DSY numbers and most common marker numbers, most common marker numbers. So he is the probably the closest to the shared ancestor of all these men. So Roger's probably at the closest level. The blue is telling us that family tree DNA is grouping them together, thinking that they are probably in the same family. But we know that Samuel Forgie and Andrew Forgie are no more closely related than the others are. It just happened that this marker is a quick changing marker and it can mutate at any time. And it went from, we don't know if it went from 20 to 19 or 19 to 20, but if we get a few more testers, we might be able to tell what the original value for this is. We don't know the original value for this DSY 576. My uncle had an unusual mutation on DSY 442 with 11, and everybody else had 10. And this one is not a quickly changing marker, so this is significant. Also, Andrew Forgie of Maury County, Craig Forgie had a mutation on another marker, which is also a marker that doesn't change as quickly. So hopefully it's significant. It might lead us to matching them with their correct family. If another person comes in and tests and is 13 on that marker, they are more closely related to this line than the others are. So yeah, we see the differences. Some of these mutations occurred pretty recently because we know that Samuel Forgie, let me see, Michael's ancestor, and Darren Forgie is also a descendant of Samuel Forgie. So these two men are from the same line, but apparently they have had recent mutations because they don't share the same mutations. So since 1726, mutations have occurred along in their lines. We see that Samuel, Darren Forgie had 2 mutations away from the model, which is Roger. And we see that most of these are 2 mutations away from the model, other than my uncle, who is 1 mutation away, meaning that he's probably closer related to Roger than the others are. So if we get more testers in, we can maybe tell more about this one marker here, whether it's 19 or 20, whether Roger is closer or the other 2 are closer to the original ancestor. And if we get some more testers, somebody interested in Ireland with the name Forgy or Scotland, this all may be significant. Maybe we could, connect with their lines in those places and go farther back in time. So we're just waiting for other testers to finish testing, and that will give us a better idea of, what the common ancestor, their DNA looked like. And might give us an idea of when all these people shared a common ancestor, how long ago that was. So that's all for this portion of the testing. Oops, sorry, I misspoke. My uncle Charles had a mutation on DYS 438, which was 11. This test only tests the straight male line, which means that we need males carrying the name Forgy to test, because it goes back from all the way back in time from father to son. I'll show you a test that anybody can take, male or female. It's not quite as dependable as the Y test is. The Y test will always tell you whether you share a common ancestor with somebody. But this test is not quite as reliable because our more distant cousins may or may not share any DNA with us. At the 5th cousin level, we only share a small fraction of DNA, just a trace of DNA. And like I said, sometimes all traces of the shared DNA that we share with a 5th cousin may have disappeared. We may not share any DNA at all. And here we see my results, and these are arranged in order of relationship. And these are my closest matches. Of course, my mother is my closest match. And we see 2nd to 4th cousin, and it goes on from there. And this is a helpful test. I mean, some of us will show up related to 5th cousins. And beyond that, I've had 5th to 10th cousins match me. But you can't, that doesn't always happen. But the more people you test, the more likely it is that somebody will match, that somebody in that line will match. So it's a useful test. Nan and I both were 5th cousins, and we did match. So that was pretty lucky. I mean, odds are we wouldn't, but we did match. And that's about all for today. Still waiting to get the expected dates for our results on the Y tests that are coming back. Oh, and also we have somebody in Nancy Forgey's line. Nancy Forgey, daughter of Andrew Forgy and Margaret Reynolds of Hawkins County, Tennessee. One of their descendants will be taking the Family Finder test. They do not share our surname, and they'll take the Family Finder, and hopefully, they might match us. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that we match them. So yes, that's all for right now. I'll let you know when we know more.